The GOP makes history introducing more than 120 anti-LGBTQ+ bills so far in 2023. Republican legislators have introduced a record number of anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in Congress and state houses across America only 1 month into the new year. Advocates say they're not surprised and see this as a continuation of increasing anti-trans rhetoric that has gained momentum across the political spectrum, especially with the Republican base. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, tracked over 120 anti-LGBTQ+ bills that have already been filed in January. This includes more than 24 bills targeting across medically necessary health care for transgender people across 11 states, most of which are located in the South. According to Victoria Kirby York, the National Black Justice Coalition's Director of Public Policy and Programs, these laws will disproportionately impact the Black trans community. Bills proposed this year in South Carolina and Virginia bar state health care providers from recommending or administering puberty blockers, hormones, or gender-affirming surgeries to patients younger than 21. In Oklahoma, legislators went so far as to introduce a bill that bans gender-affirming care and gender transition procedure coverage for trans adults under the age of 26, known as the Millstone Act, whose name is directly derived from a Bible verse about punishing adults who harm children. The bill is a direct nod to Christian nationalist ideology. You know, one of the interesting things to me is the ACLU monitors this record of 120 anti-LGBT bills in just the first month of the year. Mm-hmm. And one of the big cohorts that are together is anti-LGBT in communities around the nation that have traditionally been anti-Black, anti-Latino, anti-women in terms of healthcare decisions for your own body, and the cohort that intersects with all of those things frequently in its hardest versions are states in the South. It is the same radical conservative point of view, and it's what we are facing, and the ACLU helps put a fine point of what they're watching. And this is it's an indication to me that it is how the LGBTQ community intersects with Black and brown communities and women, in that we are all in this together. Because these regions of the country, you can add Idaho into it, you can add maybe Utah into it, we have a common foe that is trying to manage us, marginalize us, get into our bed with us, and basically run and live our lives under this broad definition of protecting children and protecting political and parental rights, all of which is gaslighting, principally in the South.
Wow. And how many bills did we have last year? We had over 300, right?
For the whole year.
Not that they passed, but it was like about 300 for the whole year.
Yeah.
And we were telling stories about, oh my God, these are so many bills that they're trying to take away all our rights, blah, blah, blah. And look at us in the beginning of February.
Yeah.
And we've already have more than
See, this is going to backfire on the GOP, I believe. Polls, even amongst Republicans, have shown that most people don't care about transgender issues. There is a very vocal minority that's very loud about this. And politicians are pandering to it because it makes good media. Most people don't care. You know, Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, they care. Most people, unless they know somebody transgender or have interactions, don't really care other than, oh, it's ratings. And voters are starting to show that. And I think that's why the midterms were not as good for the Republicans as they expected.
But on the other hand, the quote-unquote save the children rhetoric has been used again and again and again to marginalize the LGBTQ plus community.
It's just a red herring, though.
It is a red herring, but it is a very effective red herring because, you know, if you ask the electorate, if you ask common people on the street, oh, do you want to protect children? Of course they're going to protect children. So they word the bills to make it so look like it is a generic protect the children bill when it comes, but it is really in effect stripping away our civil rights in order to quote. And plus, I mean, those two bills, for example, 21 years old is not, it's way beyond legal adult. 26 years old is way beyond.
Can you imagine?
And we're going to have a generation of students who are going to know they're being minimalized and forced into the closet. When I was a kid, I knew there was something different about me, but I didn't know. Now it's all across the headlines, and it's going to hurt. And who are the main victims of crime and suicide in our community?
Black and brown trans women.
Black or people of color women. That's who this is going to hurt. And 10 years from now, we're going to be sitting here and probably doing the first real data that comes in from this period and going, this was a murderous disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.